Welcome back. Oh, Wendy Brooker. Wait, I don't have anything on her. Right. Wendy Brooker sits down at a bar, a serene smile on her face. Got something to celebrate, Wendy? Celebrate isn't quite the appropriate word, though I do indeed have something to look forward to. It is time for another sojourn back to the family mansion. I try to visit once a month. While the area around it has always been quite dull, I do enjoy the opulence of my childhood manor. How's your relationship with your family? Oh, they're perfectly pleasant. I simply struggle to deal with the boredom that comes with the region, but that's not their fault. I do hope the train ride is a little bit more comfortable than last time. While it beats the old stagecoach my family used to take before this new invention, there's just something awkward about sharing your means of travel with strangers. I say a little prayer for you. I should be back next week. Don't miss me too much, darling. Keep the lights on for me. Oh, so we can't find anything out for 1 week? Bye. Why is she telling me this, though? I'm just a bartender. Vincent Floir, humming a tune, descends the stairs and enters the speakeasy underneath his bookstore. Everything going smoothly with the case, bartender? Well, could be better, I think. Not to worry, I might have something to help you. Have you ever noticed that large machine installed back there? No? So that's what was under there. And that machine, it's called the STAC. It's like a wondrous digital library that you can consult about any piece of information you'd wish to learn. Or, so I've been told, anyway. So it's a computer, an old one. I received it as a gift from a university I once sponsored. But I admit, I've never really tested it myself. Technology and I have never really seen eye to eye. Vincent fishes a small copper key out of his pocket and places it on the bar top, sliding it across to you. I'm entrusting you with it from here on out. Perhaps you can find some use for it, gathering intel and the like. It's really the least I could do after getting us both involved in this situation. Thank you, Vincent. Okay, I can eavesdrop. Oh, Peter's back. I couldn't get over how balmy the weather was today. Dreadful to know these might be the last good days we get before it's nothing but sleet and icy winds for a month. Makes me feel so pressured to save it. Aye, but every season has its merit, hasn't it? If not just a reminder the world is still spinning on despite it all. Besides, we've already had a pretty good run this year, though, let's say. Oh, I don't know, there's so much we haven't done yet, too. Why don't you and I go for a walk beyond the city tomorrow, before it gets too cold? I've been meaning to drag you up the Fenlands one of these days. It's so beautiful out there. Tomorrow? Yes, there's this lovely little bradery happening on the Pieta de Peste tomorrow morning, and they have this one store that sells the most delightful little viennoiseries. Absolutely delectable. Especially the eclairs. That does sound alright, but... Right? We could pick up some on the way and have Andrew and Andre prepare us a little basket so we can picnic at the lookout point for lunch. Is something happening tomorrow? Andre? Oh, he's just my butler. Anyway, I once saw this funny red duck somewhere around there, and you absolutely must tell me what it is if you find it again. I'm sure you'll know all about it. Lucas? I'm not sure if it will rain, but I'll pack us an umbrella anyway. I don't have binoculars though, so I leave that part to... Lucas? Lucas' chattering falls silent as Björn stops him with a gentle touch on his knee. That all sounds absolutely wonderful, but I have to work tomorrow. Oh, you can't take a day off? Ha, if only. I still haven't gotten the union off the ground, and not for lack of trying. After the last attempt, I'll be just lucky to get time off for Yule. That's unfortunate. Well, why don't we do it on Sunday morning then? There'll be no market, of course, but I know another bakery that isn't too far out of the way. Caesar usually has a day off on Sundays, though. Caesar. I thought his name was Andre. Oh no, Caesar is my chauffeur. Anyway, I'm sure if I ask nicely, he also has to work Sundays? I'll drive us. I make us gammon and egg sandwiches and I pick you up at 8. How's that sound? That sounds wonderful. It's a date! Okay, let's see what this machine is all about. Silas Tech Archive Connection. What is this picture? The STAC stands in the corner of the bar. This model was modified to operate on 0.25 lake coins, but with the mastery key you receive from Vincent, you can use it as often as you like. That's good. Flip the power switch at the back. You flip the power switch after a brief whirring noise, the monitor lights up and you are met with a simple prompt. Search topic. Search topic. Detective Hugo Mertens. Detective Hugo Nestor Mertens is a detective for the Bukovi police force who has been mentioned in 7 articles. He's not Southern. There's mention of Detective Mertens of the Brooks Police Constabulary in the country of Belgium. The earliest mention of Detective Mertens in Sada was 1926. He is listed as one of the youngest detectives in Sada, having received a promotion in November last year after his work on the Bukovi killer case. The police were unable to apprehend the presumed perpetrator, Elliot Lynn, though no more cases have occurred since his disappearance. That's all the information I have. Thank you, operator. Vincent Florado. Vincent Florado, born 1872 in Bukovi, patriarch of the current generation of the Florado family. I found many mentions of Mr. Florida's financial contributions to numerous municipal projects. There's also records of 2 political donations and half a dozen university papers listed. Silas Tech lists Mr. Florida as a primary investor during STAC's initial development. He received one of the first prototypes as well as a lifetime subscription of the service. Mr. Florida oversees the Florida Foundation, which has business interests in the political, administrative and charitable spheres of Sada. I also have a police report that shows Mr. Florida was cautioned last year for running an illicit speakeasy. The report mentions Constable Hugo Mertens as the officer making the report. Eleanor Ernest. Eleanor Ernest, born 1867. First customer search indicates her name is mentioned in a dozen press articles. A more comprehensive search would give more detailed results. Eleanor Ernest worked as a Bukovi Police Department detective until the late 90s, and she switched careers to become a private investigator. She solved many crimes, including a double homicide in Bukovi in 1899, where the constabulary failed to make progress until she came on board. How does this machine work? The Silas Tech Archive connection is a major step forward in information technology. It connects users via radio phone terminal with operators who will answer user queries from the comfort of their homes. It's time to trade in your encyclopedia and stick with STAC. There's a person answering all these questions. My name is Elian. I'm an operator for Silas Tech. How can I assist you today? How do you know all these things? The finest reference material ever printed, cross-referenced by skilled, articulate information officers like me. Interesting. What does an operator do? Operators are trained information officers ready to help manage your searches. Operators are designed on a per-console basis, though some consoles may share operators. If I'm not meeting your expectations, please let us know. Should you wish to change to a different operator, you can submit a request from the main menu. Well, you're doing wonderfully. So it's a person behind that. Well, that's lame. Alina Dragos registered. Alina Dragos was born in 1906. She was a very successful chess player and was on track to make Grandmaster within the next 5 years. She was the child of Alexander Dragos, a notable gambler who made a fortune playing poker, and her mother is not listed. While not named in any article, some sources claim her mother left the family to join a cult known as the Deus Irae in the year 1911. Alina Dragos was pronounced dead at the age of 22 as the victim of a suspected murder while visiting a tea house in Bukovi. Would you like a printout of the article detailing the event? No thanks, I already have one. So we can print the stuff as well. Maria Poppa. Maria Poppa, born 1906 in Bukovi, is a chess player known for her 1921 first place finish in the Zara Northern Region's Chess Grand Prix, right? She won a tournament in 1921 at age 15. She's a local to Bukovi. According to chess periodicals, she's achieved top 3 finishes in several more competitions, though I can't find the tournament names. Killian Durand, born 1905 as a child of a businessman Maurice Durand and Dr. Agatha Durand. Several archives contain documents regarding applications for a variety of notable universities and colleges in and around the nation of Zara. None of them are marked for approval, as all the attached application tests display a grade below the accepted standard. He was able to start medical studies at Bukovi University as a legacy student due to his mother's status as an alumnus, but dropped out in his second year. Wendy Brooker. Brooker is a common surname in Zara. Oh, it is? Nothing else about Wendy Brooker? Records show no notable entry with this name, so she's not rich. Even in the context of old money? Please hold. Reason. Records for old money families are often missing or incomplete. This can happen for many reasons, but sometimes it's because they have the resources to protect their privacy. The monitor seems to be receiving more information, but the connection is slow and for a while no new text appears. You periodically look back at the screen to see if there's anything new. As you're about to click the switch to reset the terminal, a response finally appears. Okay, completed for all registered old money families, their marriages, relationships, children and adoptions, with mention of the individual Wendy Brooker. 0 matches found. Please note the archives may be incomplete due to privacy restrictions. That's suspicious. Let's see, Feng Bai. Feng Bai, born 1873. Miss Bai migrated from the Empire of Huaxia to Zara in 1893 and is the current proprietress of a small tea house called the Tea Terrace, just off the central boulevard of Bukovi. Local articles from Zara newspapers focus on a recent murder that took place at her establishment. Please give me some time to find more information in translations from Huaxian papers. A series of 3 dots beginning to loop on the screen of the terminal. Since this will take some time, you decide to return to the bar and check in later. Out of the corner of your eye, you notice the screen flashes and a new prompt appears. Research translation completed. Thank you for your patience. Feng Bai was mentioned in an article from Huaxian newspapers regarding a mass poisoning that took place at a tea house where she was employed as a waitress. The constabulary asked me to translate this particular newspaper 6 years ago and I still have it on the file. Oh? Mass poisoning. Or maybe that's why she keeps the charcoal. An old wealthy family that visited had become the target of a vigilante organization set on strategic assassination of ancient affluent crime families. At the time, no evidence was found at the scene that could incriminate any of the staff, and the investigation was quickly closed when the vigilante organization claimed responsibility for the attack. That is all I could find. Huaxian newspapers are hard to come by and they are difficult to translate. More thorough investigation would require several months of processing time. What? Month? Okay, don't have time for that. Lethal poison of Zara. Sorry, did you say you want information on lethal poisons? Yes. Please clarify the reasons for this query. Such information may violate our safety protocols. It's for research. You are not the only person to ask about this topic recently. Are you pursuing this query in a professional context? I'm working with Detective Mertens. Confirmed. There are hundreds of lethal poisons. Which ones are you interested in? Poisons that are hard to detect in drinks. Results will be filtered on those marked as botanical poisons, whose natural essence will not greatly alter the taste of beverages. The most commonly used botanical poison in Southern history are wild heart, reaper's cap, lynxbane, and moss mold. Most deaths are accidental, though there are some historical examples of assassination via these poisons. Properties. Now listing all the properties of commonly botanical poisons of Zara when a lethal dose is ingested. Wild heart, time to take effect 1 hour. Symptoms: sweating and increased blood pressure, leading to heart attack. Reaper's cap, time to take effect 8 hours. Nah. Symptoms: skin rash, hallucinations, and severe internal hemorrhaging. Wait, what was her symptoms? Asphyxiation. Nothing else, right? Lynxbane. 4 hours. Severe coughing and convulsion. Oh, with death by asphyxiation. Lynxbane it is. Lynxbane. All these potions are native only to Zara and found in and around rural areas. Methods of harvest and extractions will not be shared due to safety protocols. Bukovi speakeasies. Under the current Southern Prohibition Law, written and signed as Article RCH, Section 2, Case OH, the practice of serving alcoholic beverages is banned outside of religious practices. I sure you didn't mean Bukovi bars. Actually, forget it. Okay, so... how do I leave? Like this? Yeah. Alright, we got some information on the poison. It takes 4 hours. Were they there for 4 hours? That's a question. Maybe. Okay. Ooh, what to do? What to do? Peter? What am I in the mood for today? Care for a drink? There you go. You know how to make a good drink. And you know, you almost made one tonight. Almost. Any good work stories? What sort of drinks do you like? I like proper drinks, something dark and bitter. Has that made you dark and bitter? How about you leave the jokes and stick to mixing, bartender? Any good work stories? Stories from my work? You sure you got a stomach for that? Yes. I guess I could tell you about when me, Gilead, and Ronzi did a spot at a rundown outpost store in the Rover Valley. Before we left the city, Ronzi threatened a liquor store owner, and to keep the wolves from the door, he let us borrow his radio cap. Had a big storage unit in the back, you know, like those delivery trucks that bring the fish to market downtown. Anyway, we were all thoroughly inebriated on a bitterberry wine Gilead had secured for us that morning. While those two were taking shots, driving and drinking, I had to rummage in the back. And you won't believe what I found. What? A fancy dress costume. A big fluffy bear costume. The liquor store owner must have been doing kids parties at the weekend or something. Anyway, Gilead gets so drunk he puts the costume on while me and Ronzi are taking a piss. The suit was massive, fuzzy, and even had ears and everything. Fancy stuff. He's stumbling around making bear noises and we all laughing our ass off, but... This mad farmer comes running out the trees. Turned out he lived in a farmhouse nearby. And you will never guess what this guy was worried about. Real bears. Turns out they have big brown ones up there. Poor kid, I didn't even see it coming. Both barrels of the shotgun boom. Oh god. Did this really happen? You remember what I said at the start, right? What made you think this was going to be a happy story? Yeah, he was a mad bastard anyway. At least he went out in a memorable way. Most of the guys I worked with back in those days just had infected stab wounds or pickled their own livers. Oh god, poor Gilead. I like to think of him in the afterlife and I got his arms, still wearing that stupid bear costume and he's still growling. Ha. Okay, nice story. Do you know anything about Lynxbane? Oh yeah, nasty stuff, Dad. You're familiar with it? Never used it myself, that's what you're getting at. Poison's a weapon for women and cowards. Unfortunately, that does seem to cover the entirety of your suspect list, doesn't it? Tough love. Is there something he can tell? Can you tell me about charcoal? Okay, how's this my business exactly? Yeah. How do you feel about the prohibition? Not good. I hate it too. Yeah, new job, I can see why. But I guess there ain't much competition for you right now. And the king of the blind and the one-eyed man is king and all of that. But the people in power got their reason for this prohibition. They sure don't care about your success or failure as a bartender. Prohibition was a test to see how far they can push us before we push back. And so far, I don't see anyone doing anything but rolling over. That's how you get power over someone. You don't push too far too fast. You bend them to do what you want. Push too hard and they break. They fight back or try to get help. That's how I do it. You just keep testing the waters. Push a little edge into their space. Make demands, disrespect them, but not so much they notice at first. Then one day they wake up and realize it's too late to fight back. You already have them under you. It's too late for them to get indignant to stand up for themselves. You already cut them off at the knees. Is that how you got into this line of work? No. That's too forward. That's cynical. It's reality. That's what people in power know. It's how they get power. If you chip away at someone's self-respect, when they go looking for the bravery, they find it's long gone. Can't stand up when you got no spine. Trust me, that's Tsara. First immobilization, then prohibition, conscription, it will be curfew next. It's all about power and how you keep it. Why though? Why? Because no one is questioning power when they are already on their knees, terrified of war. Trust me, strength recognizes strength. Someday I gotta be a monster. It's in my job description, but there's a worse kind of monster than me. They're called politicians. It's late, I'm going home. I haven't found out anything, but I guess he's not a suspect. I could ask her about some details. Good to see you, my dear. I hope the day has treated you kindly. Always a pleasure, Eleanor. Bars are a great place for deep thought, and I always think best with a glass in my hand. What sort of drinks do you like? With simple and fruity flavors. Yeah, simple and fruity. Fruity. Simple and fruity. You didn't like that one? Fruity. I could go with Eastern Ruby. Well, it's not really. Is it fruity? This one sounds good, but it's not really fruity, even though it's called. It's called that, but I go with the Pirate's Joy. I can't get any drink right. Well, that's okay. They're still in a good mood. And most of the time I want to get them drunk anyway, and not get their favorite drink. Possible, I can drink this. Alright. Maybe I could ask you some questions? How about we switch things up a bit and ask you some questions? No? I feel like you're doing a lot of interrogation, and maybe we turn the tables for a minute? Treat it like a lesson, darling. I've been getting information out of suspects all my life. Let me show you how it's done. Alright. Do you think you're up to the task of tracking down a killer? I can do it. Confident. Interesting. Let me give you some guidance. When you are trying to get a read on someone, there's only one question you need to hold in your head. And it is, what does this person want me to feel about them? That's it? That's it. We all wear a mask when speaking with others, and a mask is built to show something. Be on the lookout for what people are trying to show you. It won't be hard to spot. Now, what kind of investigator do you want to be? Do you want to serve your community or save yourself? Well, right now... What? I do want to save... Wait, I also want to save Vincent, though. Myself and a speakeasy, and... I know I can't do both. Well, I want to save myself. Interesting. You're being honest with yourself, and with me. What? That seemed harsh to you? Well, that's rather the point, darling. Getting a read on someone isn't about a flattering idea of the nature, it's about the unflattering truth. Now, are you a sociable sort, or do you prefer your own company? I enjoy time to myself. Yes, reading or listening to the wireless, I'll bet. Working a bar would make anyone crave some peace and quiet. Last questions. Are you in love with anyone who doesn't know it? Huh? It's not a long or complex question, darling, and I don't care who it is. I'm just wondering if your heart is pining right now. I don't get romantic feelings. Yes, I believe you. Though some others might not. They might see it as a curse. But being free of such feelings can be a blessing too, trust me. That's all of my questions for now. What was the point of this? 3 things: to practice, to educate, and to form an opinion on you. And? I am rusty, but my instinct remains. You'll have learned a little something, if you were listening. I haven't decided what I think of you, but you're not boring. That's enough for me, for now. What do you think of the Bukovi police force? What do I think about them? They've got a storied history. If you look back at the information over the years, you can see why they are how they are. Tell me about the history. The Bukovi Constabulary, to use the proper title, as a successor to the defunct Bukovi Imperial Order Regiment. You see, the old Bayor was militarized, and with Bukovi's history of uprising and coups, the reigning aristocracy was mainly focused on keeping order in the streets. The old saying goes, Tsara and politicians wear loose collars because they know the nose is always waiting. Wait, are you still listening, or is this too much for a short attention span of your generation? Still listening? Well, it all changed when the military staged a coup against our old aspiring empire, Leopold the Bold. The old fool angered the generals, and they turned on him. That's not exactly what the history books say. It is, if you read them properly, and consider who wrote them. Anyway, this bickering between the Imperial Guard and the Bayor and the actual army started to worry the real power brokers in Zara, the landed gentry. Imperial Guard, Bayor, and the actual army, okay. And a lot of soldiers found they no longer had homes in the winter. Financial levers were pulled and the constabularies were founded, primarily of ex-soldiers employed to evict those who couldn't make rent. It was all a scheme. The new constabularies were paid 3 times what the Bayor received, and recruitment drives were aggressive. Soon we had a demilitarized nation with a swollen police force. Of course that didn't last. Once Leopold was exiled and the riots, protests and skirmishes subsided, the constabularies were slashed to the bare minimum, and we were left with the understaffed, overly aggressive PD you see in Bukovi. We've more empty police precincts in Sada than tea houses in Huaxia, but not to worry. They make lovely bird sanctuaries in a long cold winter. So that's why they're not great. Their primary motivation is the protection of property to stabilize commerce, so the Bukovi economy chugs along like a steam locomotive. They tackle street-level crime with the same ethos as the established gangs that rule the Bukovi undercity. And that ethos is: you can't catch every lawbreaker, so when you catch one, make the poor bastards suffer. Then you just hope your overaction frightens the rest enough that they commit their crimes a little more discreetly. What do you think about that? Oh shit, you should think hard enough to form your own opinion, and I find the courage to share it. But, shit, she doesn't like us at all. What's like being a private investigator? It's like being in one of those glamorous mystery novels that a woman of a certain age loves so much, but without a glamour or mystery. How so? In real crimes, the victim is seldom beautiful, and the culprit's almost always the husband. Crime is most often horribly mundane. Men are fragile, and when their egos are cracked, they commit violence on women. Oh, really? Well, that's just the murders and assaults. And in truth, I've stepped away from those. Don't have the stomach for it anymore. Even before I retired for 20-odd years, I was doing the more prosaic investigations. Like? Oh, the usual. Missing persons, inheritance, squabbles, insurance fraud, corporate espionage, and the odd heist. Heists sound exciting. Sometimes, yes. You heard of the Noir diamond robbery? It wasn't misplaced during cleaning in the gallery of colonial treasures. It really was stolen, and I found it. Wow. Anyway, I can't get this Dragos girl out of my head. Something about the way she died. I need to unravel this mystery, even if it means stepping back into the world I thought I had left behind. Besides, I can't stand that the police are trying to incriminate my friend. She cared a lot for the girl. I hope that by seeing this case solved, poor Miss Bai can find some concept of peace again in her life. So what do you think about Lynxbane? Fascinating. All of Alina's symptoms match those of Lynxbane poisoning. That's a plant native only to Tsara. Our nation's history is littered with stories and rumors about Lynxbane poisoning. It's a useful medicine, but a potent toxin. Maybe it was an accident, like giving her medicine, but too much. As with all things, it's a dosage that makes a difference, and that can be hard to measure if you're not familiar with the plant and the process. You'd be shocked if you didn't find a small stash of the stuff in the office of any doctor on the Bukovi Boulevard. How do you know all of this? I paid attention in history class when I was in school, and I paid attention when I went for dinner with Miss Dr. Durand and her son Killian. You know Killian? Wait. Do you know about his homecoming? I'm not surprised to hear Dr. Durand runs a tight ship. Her son certainly seems to have a penchant for trouble. Still, I speak from experience when I say young men his age don't take well to parental control. I'd hoped he moved back home willingly, try to find out what happened there. Might be relevant. Yeah, I mean, I know already. No, but this. You believe Mr. Durand could be our blackmailer? It's certainly a credible theory. He may have grown a little too comfortable getting to share Alina's wealth. I can only imagine how well he handled her payments drying up. But that's no real motive to kill her, though. So, Feng's past. I suppose I'm impressed. To learn about Feng's past without her consent is no simple task. But you seem determined to dig up her secrets. Don't go putting any wild thoughts in your head, Bartender. This means nothing. Oh, so you don't want to talk about her. Typical. Typical. Do you know about Wendy Broker? Taking a relaxing vacation in the middle of an ongoing murder investigation might come across a bit callous, but I suppose it is her right. The fact she told you about it is probably a good sign. Not that I imagine Miss Broker has any intent to slip away. What do you think of the Detective Mertens? What do I think of him? Yes? Well, he didn't get to his current possession without displaying some ability. He's no fool. But his strongest trait is not his intuition or deduction, it's his ambition. And has led him into foreign lands, literally. Well, I don't trust him. Trust him? No, I don't trust him to look after your interests or mine. But I trust he will do what he can to stop this killer. We can use him, but he is a tool. And a tool only works when you use it for the right job. What do we use him for? You're either smart enough to work your way around Detective Mertens, or you're not. But if you need a little advice, I'll leave some openings that he can explore. Don't give him conclusions, point him in directions. He can put 2 and 2 together. For anything more complicated, that's where you might have to draw him a picture. Perhaps I'm too hard on him. He has potential to be a good detective, or perhaps he had potential. He's lost, dwelling on his own shortcomings. Maybe you can help him rediscover his spark, or at least keep him company while he plays with his toy trains. Do you have family living here in Bukovi? Normally, yes. But right now my husband is traveling. He'll visit the twins eventually, who now both live in the colonies. But his last postcard was from, let me think, Albion, I believe. Albion? You didn't want to travel with him? No, I'm quite fond of him, but I do enjoy some time to myself. What do you do with your time? Other than come out of retirement to moonlight on police investigations? I'm terribly fascinated by these new radio stations. What do you do with your free time? All I seem to do is work? Well, I can't help you with that, but I'm happy you feel you can confide in me. I look forward to solving the mystery of the young woman's death together. Why did you decide to come out of retirement? The poisoned girl, Alina, she was a bit of an outsider. Something about her death felt familiar. And that feeling, it's a scab I have to pick at. It reminds you of another case. Yes and no. It reminds me of where I used to be. It reminds me of the old Eleanor, who didn't back down from challenges, wasn't afraid to follow her instinct and see where they lead. What happened to you? Defeat humbled me. Defeat by whom? I had not expected to be talking about this with you or anyone. Perhaps when we know each other better, I'll say more. I don't think we will, actually. What do you think of the speakeasies? Fine places that serve the thirsty citizens of Bukovi in that hour of need. Those who run such a establishment put their liberty on the line for a splash of bourbon. Illegal, though. That doesn't concern me overly. But you worked for the police. I worked for them. I'm not married to the police. I don't need to pretend I agree with them. Indeed, the Bukovi Constabulary comes to me for my contrarian nature. Contrarian. I found that the ruder I am to the officers in the downtown metropole precinct, the more they like me. When I was a young detective, they could keep up with me, but they didn't listen to me or respect me either. Now I talk to them as you would a stupid child, or perhaps a very clever dog. And the boys at the station listen. Let this be a lesson to you, bartender. I think I get it. When you treat people like they have to earn your respect, they give you theirs for free. It's important advice for the people who often find they are the smartest one in the room, but not necessarily the most charismatic. Is that you? No, I'm very charming. Are you? You're very shrewd. Oh shit. Yes. Oh, she really doesn't like me. Well, it's okay. What do you know about Maria? Interesting. Mr. Floire could stand to hold the privacy of his customers in higher regard, but in this case it has brought us a valuable piece of information. This doesn't look good for Miss Popper. She's not going to do anything, is she? I'm not surprised. Miss Spy is a wise and well-traveled woman. Let's put the idea of her being some killer to bed already, shall we? She's been hassled enough by our detective. Must we go digging in her past too? The more she talks about her not being the killer, the more I think she is the killer. But let's just see. Let's talk to the other people. Mr. Florida, I trust everything is going smoothly. For now. What can I make? Let's see, what would you like? Maybe... Oh god. I go with the Liberty. Why not? I just give him all the drinks I have. You're getting better at this. For future reference, I'm a big fan of orange. If you've got something behind that barn with orange, I'm all for it. You are. Okay, what do you know about Linksbane? Oh yes, I read about that one once before in an illustrated botanical guide. Beautiful flowers, but very potent indeed. Ah, dreadful to think something so deadly dots many a garden and meadow. Things past. Dear goodness, Butler, are these kinds of the kind of things Detective Mertens is having you unearth? Miss Spy has been here long before immigrant workers were imported in droves like they are now. Back when our government ran proper background checks. Don't go putting any crazy ideas into your head. That's okay. I was just going to ask if you know about anything. Do you know about Wendy? Fascinating, I'm sure, but I'm not sure what you're expecting me to utter here. No, I don't know. Maybe you know something. Do you know about Killian's freedom being in the hand of Durant? That good-for-nothing scoundrel. I've always known something was wrong with that boy. Well then, what shall we discuss today? Nothing. Oh no! No! Do you think the mother has Linksbane? Tell me you're not dragging Dr. Durant into this. I can't imagine she'd give her fool of a son unrestricted access to so much as a pair of tweezers in her practice. Yeah, I think so too. What do you know about their friendship? I'd rather you didn't tell me things like this, Bartender. I despise gossip. Okay, apologies. And he's gone. Olivia! How the devil have you been? My throat is absolutely parched this evening. Let's get started, shall we? Oh, I have to get her drunk? No, I think... Okay, I think I already got her drunk. She's in a good mood, so... Let's give her something to be in a real good mood about. Perfect. What's the recent gossip? Oh, come now, darling. This is not how the game is played. Knowledge is power, and we don't give away our power unless forced. And gossip is knowledge with entertainment value. Spicy knowledge, if you will. What does Olivia have to offer? Well, frankly, a lot. But one thing she possesses in greater quality and quantity than anyone else in this little city is gossip. And if you want me to give that away, what can you offer me in return? Of equal value? A drink? Equal value. I could share some of my gossip? Darling, don't take this the wrong way, but if you know something that I don't, I'd have to re-evaluate my understanding of the order of this universe. No offense intended. I have a better suggestion. You know, a personal recommendation from an esteemed member of this community, like a skilled bartender, can attract more listeners than 100 posters. Okay, I tell my customers to listen to your show. Very good, and in return I can offer one Salus's piece of tittle and or tattle, but only one. The question is, who do you think holds the most interesting secrets? Oh. Either Wendy or Feng, I would say. Let's go with Wendy for now. Aw, haven't we talked about her already? The girls at the bridge club say she hires a young laborer from the stables to wear a saddle while she scars his buttocks with a riding crop. But personally, I think she prefers rich old men to stable boys. But I've already said too much. Let's change our focus on two weightier subjects. Gossip is like cake, sweet in small portions, but too much can make you feel a little sick. Oh, that's the gossip? I should have asked for Feng. What do you know about her visiting the family? Pardon me, darling. As much as I love gossip, I'm not sure I know enough about this. Aha! So you don't know anything. Do you know something about Feng's past? Oh, no. I'm not following you down this path, bartender. Feng Bai is an upstanding, God-fearing woman, and also my friend. I'm not interested. Why does she have so many friends? In high places, even. What about the fallout? It sounds credible to me. For a quarrel between girlfriends to go that badly, it must have been over something serious. And as charming as I'm sure Killian is, I rather doubt it was over a boy. I should head back home. That's it. Okay. Hey, Björn, good evening. You look like you need a drink, as always. Oh, I already know what you do like. So I'll give it to you. Any friends of you joining you tonight? I don't really know many people on the boulevard or in Bukovi. This is a friendly place. Yes, I was nervous to come here, but it's nice. Lots of different types of people. I don't feel too out of place. That's what we're aiming for. Hey, I like that. Maybe I meet some of Luca's friends. I hope they don't expect someone different. Different? More like Lucas. Wealthy, smart. You know, book smart and witty. I'm not the guy you bring out for the after-dinner chat about literature and philosophizing, that kind of thing. Do you even want to be? I suppose the crow is safer at night, but treats lightly in the snow. Huh? It's a Scotian saying. The crow is black, you see. In the snow it's too easy to spot. But at night, the crow flies with confidence, because the night is safe for the crow. I guess it means we all have our own comfort zone, but if we don't leave sometimes, we won't make many new friends. True. Did you see the news about the peace talks today? Are you joking? Huh? There's no chance of peace now. Treaties between the Alliance and the Osaka satellite states means they're unifying to clear way for invasion through the Eastern Peninsula. That's bad. How do you not know this? How do all of you in Bukobi not know this? I keep trying to talk to Tsaran people about what's happening in the world, and they look back at me like I'm reading them a story from a fiction novel. Right, we need to face the realities of war. Better to know than not to know and then be surprised. I understand that war is frightening, but it is going to happen. We are running out of time. But everyone in Zara wants to pretend this party can go on forever. Why are you so sure it's coming? In my last job, I worked on these long reinforced barrels for Earthshaker cannons. These things had to have striations that were 3 whole inches long to stabilize the munitions. That's because the shells carried a payload. The engineers dreamed it up last month, and they call it Promian Flame. It costs 800 brass per ounce to produce, and it burns human flesh down to the bone. Ooh. You don't make something that expensive and that cruel unless you plan to use it. The weapons of the last Pan Nation war made 1 million widows. The weapons of the next war won't leave anyone to grieve. Is it that bleak? Look, I don't think it's completely hopeless. There might be a way we all come out of the other end of this thing. We do all need to start behaving like our time is limited and precious. Cause it is. Even if you think the war doesn't affect you, this mad grain rationing is ineffectual, and it stopped all alcohol production. You can only hope the world sees sense, and soon. Okay, one more. Do you know anything about Lynxbane? What a horrible poison. Goes to show that as much as we like to feel in control, nature has endless ways of causing us harm if we're not careful. Bye bye. Hello. Evening. Business looks to be going well enough now. What looks good tonight? Care for refreshment. Wait. What do you like? Coffee. Okay. There, this is the one you like, right? Alright. Besides Björn, do you know anyone else here? Except for Vincent, but not really, but I'm happy to mingle. I've already done a lap of the room and the conversation has been decent. I make friends easily. For example, I was having an interesting chat with Detective Mertens about model trains. He's a friendly chap. Hugo. Yes, indeed. He's a little odd, but if you hit on his subjects of interest, he gets very animated. I enjoy talking to anyone who is passionate about a subject, no matter what the subject is. What are you passionate about? Guess. Animals wearing tiny human clothes, model trains. Coffee. Let's go with the interesting one. Animals wearing tiny human clothes. Excuse me, no! Who likes that? No one, I guess. This conversation took a turn. I'm very fond of a strong espresso, though cappuccino has its place too. But you only drink those in the morning. I learned that when I visited Vitulia in my teens. This no, I don't want to talk about more. You're a coffee enthusiast. We have better name than coffee enthusiast. Java junkie, caffeinetic, mocha maniac. Caffeinetic? What? No, I'm a brewmaster. Any tips? Many, too many. But if I was to suggest the top 3? Yes. Grinding first. Only grind right before brewing. Too early with the grind and your coffee will be stale. Next is tamping. That's when you push the button coffee down in a basket. You must tamp, but lightly and without pressure. Don't compact the coffee or the water won't flow through evenly and will channel. And third, don't shock your hot coffee with a cold cup. You can get every step correct and ruin a good coffee pour at the very end with a cold cup. Thanks for the tips. Anytime. I'm opening a bag of Janian brown dark roast beans soon. Next time I brew some, I'll let you try it. Thank you. Do you know anything about Linksbane? Sorry, I'm not sure why you're asking me about this. Maybe he knows about Wendy. Good on her for staying in touch with her roots, I'd say. I suppose she certainly has much to talk about. She has? Well, that was fruitful, I guess. I heard you like model trains. Oh, I can't ask that. So your hypothesis is that Killian used Linksbane poison after acquiring it from his mother's pharmacy cabinet? It's a possibility. He wraps his knuckles on a bar. Are you familiar with the feeling of déjà vu? Yes. Let's just say I've been here before, but I can't discuss past cases, of course. Let's keep working on this theory. I see, so Alina's wasn't the first poisoning Feng Bai has been implicated in. Even if she wasn't linked to the crime at the time, the fact it happened again gives me pause. See if this lines up with anything we've already learned about Miss Bai. Excellent work, Bartender. You're more resourceful than I gave you credit for. Good, good. So this is our poison then. Not the kind of plant you could get your hands on in a city like Bukovi, unless you're exceptionally well connected. Or a medicinal professional. I thought you could find it everywhere around Bukovi. Or Zara. Our poisoneer must have gone out of the way to obtain it. Finding out who had access to Linksbane should lead us to our culprit. See if any of the witnesses can give us a timeline of events too. If Linksbane needs 4 hours to take effect, that means that Alina must have been poisoned around noon. Wait, when did Killian arrive? He arrived later, right? I'm not sure how this is relevant to our investigation. Do you think Miss Brooker might try to skip town? I think she'll be back. Alright. Let's just keep it in the back of our mind for now. Alina grants him a rope, but Killian saw only a ladder. It's certainly a credible theory. I think he's too much of a coward to actually kill someone, but it could have been an accident. It sounds credible, the timeline sure lines up, but what would Alina's use of medication have sparked a conflict this serious? I would understand a reaction of concern or disapproval from Maria, but anger strong enough to end a lifelong friendship? There must be more to it. Having to move back home with your tail between your legs, a humiliating affair for any young man, I would imagine. Sid doesn't seem to be motivated him to find work. Is he really just that lazy, or was he getting money some other way? Okay. Maybe I can ask her more. I don't know what poor Agatha Durant did to be cursed with such a fool of a son. Perhaps his father dropped him on his head as a child. If he does turn out to be our culprit, at least you can be certain her punishment will be more severe than that of any judge. True, true. It's possible they fought over Alina's use of medication. The timeline certainly lines up. But for it to have ended their friendship entirely, I'd imagine there's a little more to this we have yet to piece together. I thought a girl like Alina was wise enough to steer clear of such things, and certainly too wise to take them in excess. It's true that medication like this can do some serious damage to one's health over time, but I somewhat doubt it's that simple. Her friend's knowing her secret though. Now that part is interesting. Alina made the right call, if you ask me. They were hardly in the same league, and being blonde and charming can only excuse so much ineptitude. Perhaps you could find out more about how Achillean was affected by the breakup. I wouldn't be the first to turn very sour indeed. It wouldn't be the first to turn very sour indeed. Do you know about rhinestone heirlooms? I suppose if I was to trust anyone's judgment on jewelry, it would certainly be Olivia Carmine's. How peculiar. You'd think someone from such wealth wouldn't be caught dead wearing mere rhinestones, let alone passing them off as an heirloom. Still, I suppose being tacky is not a crime. Okay, she doesn't really have anything for me. Okay, let's get going then to our nice cabin and get our clues together, if we have clues. Link Spain. Oh. Waxian Assassin. That's not really... We don't know anything. We don't know the truth and they're just going for it. Okay, we have nothing on Wendy Brooker. That's weird. What else? Nothing really. Wait, late entrance. Killian's innocent. Yeah. Okay, so we got that one. So he's out. What else? I think I can't get anything else out for now. We have to ask more questions. Okay, I guess that's it then for today. It was a long time this time, but we also found quite a bit of information, so that's good. Then I'll see you next time. Bye bye!